Who should I play in 11-17? What's up, GameLeap? Oh, the cheers, and in today's video, we are going to be revealing the 10 strongest champions of the upcoming 11-17 patch. The changes got released today, so if you haven't checked out our video on that, make sure you do so, and for each of the champions in this video, we'll give you their runes and core items, but also one tip that will help you play these champions at a higher level. So let's get into it, and starting off the countdown, coming in at number 10, we have Qiyana. And this might sound a little strange because it's not like she's Giga OP, but next patch, because Youmuu's Ghostblade is getting buffed, as a second item, this is going to be nuts. So even though you're getting less AD, it's 100 less gold, and you're getting ability haste now as well. And for Qiyana, ability haste is so important because you really revolve around your cooldowns. Now, as for your runes and core items, they're on the screen right now. And one tip I'm going to give you for Qiyana that's going to help so much is just simply to understand that when you ult, lots of people look for terrain. But when you're fighting in the rivers, okay, around Baron and Dragon, your ultimate will still stun people if they are in this river. They don't have to be against a wall. So it doesn't matter about being inch perfect with your ultimates around these key objectives. And understanding this is just going to give you more opportunities to nuke the enemy carries. Now up next, coming in at number 9, we have the only AD carry of this countdown, and this is Ashe. And even though Wit's End is getting nerfs next patch because Wit's End and Shield Bow, it's a deadly combination at the moment for a lot of AD carries, but for Ashe, she is still going to be very strong for the rune page you see right now and the keystone you should be taking, Hail of Blades. This gives you an even stronger laning phase and makes your dueling out of this world, and this is the reason why she has the highest ADC win rate in the current patch. Now one tip for Ashe is to Hawkeye the entire map, not just to the enemy wolf camp or raptor camp. It will travel the full distance, and you never know, you might spot the enemy jungler lane ganking top lane. You might spot the enemy mid laner recalling on 1 HP in a random position. All of this information is going to help not just you, but the rest of your teammates, and it's very important to use your Hawkeye across the entire map. Now beating Ashe to number 8, this is Irelia, and I reckon we're all sick of hearing about Irelia, and she is getting nerfed next patch, so her Q is going to be healing her for less, but honestly, most of her power is still going to be there. The lower Q cooldown, the 4 stacks for her passive, your W mitigating physical and magic damage now, it's still going to be too much to deal with. But the tip I'm going to give you for Irelia, God, I really don't want to, but I'm going to, is to use your W for your opponent's main damage threat, right? So Zed's Death Mark, Yone's ultimate, Akali's E. This is going to mitigate that damage. And remember, it now has magic resist in there, so by stopping the biggest ability from your opponent, you have a much better chance of winning that 1v1. Now, another champion I don't think any of us are going to be surprised about being strong in 11-17 is coming in at number 7, and this is Fiora. So for Fiora, even though your E's cooldown is down now at later ranks thanks to last patch, who really cares? Because once you get Gore Drinker and a bunch of items, you're going to have so much haste anyway that you barely notice this, and for Fiora with Gore Drinker and Ravenous Hydra, it's just still too much to deal with. That's a fact. And the tip I'm going to give you for all you Fiora mains out there is to use your riposte, your W, when you actually use your lunge. So you can do this mid-dash. So when you jump in, and if you're anticipating that the enemy champion is going to react instantly to that lunge, you can W as part of it. This is obviously going to block that counter and immobilize the enemy champions who do this, and it's also really good to do this in team fights as well, because when you do jump in there, as soon as you jump in, someone is going to react to you. So it's a great way of countering that initial reaction from the enemy team when you jump in. So Q and W midair. Now beating Fiora to number 6 is another bruiser, and this one is Trundle. And it might seem a bit weird, but Trundle with Divine Sunderer, specifically in the jungle, is currently taking over the Rift. And he has one of the best win rates across the board. Kind of low key, I know, but the stats don't lie. With press you attack, this gives you so much offensive power in the early game, and because the jungle is now more oriented around ganking than it is just perma farming, as Trundle, you want to be fighting enemy champions, then this is obviously beneficial. And the tip I'm going to give you for Trundle is to try time your pillar to not just block the enemy champion from their safety, that's something anyone can do, but timing your pillar to interrupt the enemy champion's movement. This just shows you're on another level on Trundle. So if you're ganking a lane and you know the enemy champion has a jump or a dash, like a Tristana for example, trying to time your pillar so it hits them as soon as they take off is game winning. Just make sure to look at that lane you're ganking beforehand to know if they've used that cooldown or not. Now I'm sorry to break it to you, but coming in at number 5, we have enough Divine Sunderer abuser, and this is Camille. Now Divine Sunderer is actually getting nerfed next patch, so the AD is going down by 5, and yeah, who cares? The Spellblade passive, which will still deal 12% of the target's max HP. This is where the real strength of the item lies. It's still giving you ability haste and 400 HP, and because Camille isn't getting nerfed, I cannot not put her on this countdown. Now one tip I'm going to give you if you do want to play Camille next patch for the first time and just get free low is to time your ultimate when you actually need to. So many Camilles will use their ultimate way too too late or way too early. And there are two reasons to timing your ultimate and when you'd want to do it. So the first one is to avoid enemy damage. So if an enemy champion is about to jump onto you, you can obviously ult that damage and avoid it. Or what you can do is ult them so you lock them in place. This will be especially useful if you're getting a gank or even in a team fight. If you can jump on the enemy backline and ult the enemy AD carry, you are locking them in that area for a period of time, and this will allow your teammates to catch up and one-shot them. You can probably do that yourself, but yes, Camille comes in at number 5. Now coming in at number 4 is the best assassin in the game next patch, even though Zed is getting nerfed. So what's happening is your E is dealing less damage and your ultimate's cooldown is up at later levels. But honestly, late game when you have enough ability haste anyway, your ultimate, you're probably not going to notice this. And what's even better is that your Q's AD ratio is up as well. And because your Q deals the most damage when you're ulting onto enemy champions, you are probably going to get more kills next patch. Also with Ghostblade, because it's getting buffed and giving you flat ability haste now, no doubt that the build is going to be either Duskblade or Eclipse, Prowler's Core even, straight into Ghostblade. And the tip I'm going to give you for all you Zed players out there, because so many Zeds make this mistake, what they will do if the enemy champion, okay, they want to fight, is in melee range, like legit, they are right next to you, so many Zeds will try and W combo first, so they might W, E, Q, but the reason this is really bad is because if you have your ultimate up, and this is really level 6 onwards of course, if you have your ultimate up and the enemy champion runs into you, they are doing you a favor. They are closing that gap for you, which means you have your W at the ready after you ultimate, so you can get 3 Qs in there, and also you're going to have full energy as well. So if the enemy champion is in your deathmark radius, do not, I repeat, do not use your living shadow beforehand. Use your ultimate, save that living shadow for when they try to escape, and bang, jump on them again, 3 Qs, and they're going to die. Now starting off the top 3 guys, and if you're enjoying these top 10 champions videos where we let you know the best champions of the next patch, let us know by leaving a like down below. And coming in at number 3, the best bot laner. This is Ziggs. And for another patch, Ziggs is going to be super strong, quite simply because of Leandry's Anguish, the wave clear, the poke, the harass, and I'm pretty sure in like every game Ziggs is in, he's going to be dealing the most damage because he is just that oppressive still, even after the nerfs a couple of patches ago. But the tip I want to give you all for Ziggs is to use your E with your supports engage, or to even set up your supports engage. So many Ziggs players will use their E as a form of poke and harass, which I guess is kind of good, but when your support is standing next to you, especially if they're an engaged support, it's great to actually use your E to slow the enemy champions instead of the damage, and this is going to allow your support, it might be a rel for example, to jump in there and get on the enemy champion. So really you want to be saving your E for your teammates engage, otherwise you are just going to be going very quickly when you're spamming this non-stop. Now coming in at number 2 guys is another champion in the bot lane, but this is a support and the best in the game, and this is Sona. Since the rework last patch, Sona has dominated the Rift with the highest support win rate across the board. In pretty much every single game with the new Accelerando stacks, you're getting access to that haste more than you were before and earlier, and as you're copying down the runes and the core items for Sona in 11.17, I want to give you all a big tip here. It's all about timing your power chord enhanced auto with the right basic ability. So before a team fight, right, a great tactic is to stack your power chord, and you do this by using 3 of your basic abilities, your Q, W, and E, and the enhanced auto will change depending on the 3rd basic ability you use. So your Q deals more damage, your W reduces the enemy champion's size and damage, and your E slows them. So getting this auto attack ready before a team fight so you can use it on a main enemy threat who jumps on your backline, this is a great way to peel your carries and win. And I would highly recommend using your W last just because of that damage reduction. Now the best champion for another patch in a row is Riven for 11.17. Because there's no nerfs to Riven, there's no nerfs to Gore Drinker, I cannot not put her on this list. What's even interesting is the fact that Ghostblade is getting buffed. You never know, Ghostblade Riven might come back. And Hullbreaker is getting buffed as well, where you're getting 100 HP, and this would still be useful for all the other champions on this list. For Trundle maybe if you're split pushing, Fiora if you're split pushing. So next patch Riven is arguably even better than she already is, but there are still so many mistakes that lots of Riven players make. So if you are going to abuse her for freeload, please just do this. Get in a practice tool and practice auto attacking in between your abilities, please. Like I could say something about a combo, a flashy combo, something like that, and I understand it's kind of basic, but so many Rivens, even in like higher reloads, don't auto attack in between their abilities because they're trying to look fancy like Box was in 2014 or whatever. By auto attacking in between your Qs, in between your W, after your E, even after your ultimate, this is going to maximize your DPS because of your passive. So when you use an ability, your next auto attack is going to be dealing more damage, and it's so important to actually access this. If you don't, you're just playing ability Riven, and this honestly separates the best from the rest. So get in a practice tool and practice weaving in auto attacks. This is vital, and those are the 10 best champions for 11.17 guys. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to master any of these champions or any champion in the game for that matter in season 11, make sure to check out the GameLeap website linked in the comment section and description. Our challenger creators are uploading up to 20 videos a week. 20 videos, they're all original, they're fresh, they're not just recycled from YouTube, okay, like other sites. We care about you learning, and that is exactly what you will do. So join thousands of your fellow summoners, get signed up, and until tomorrow's upload, this has been the